Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show where we dive into the mind of a regular guy on his road to self-discovery. You'll hear everyday people just like you share the latest topics, personal stories, and things they've learned along the way. And now, please welcome your host, Wise.
And welcome. I am your boy WICE. My next guest has actually been on my podcast before, but she was on it when it was just strictly audio. She's here for the first time in the video format. Last time she was on has been almost 2 years now, almost 2 years. And we've become good friends, communicating back and forth. And she's here to promote her new book. And I'm so glad to have her on the show. Welcome to the show, Federica Bressan. What's going on?
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be on video. And indeed, I never would have thought last time we talked that I would be back presenting a book.
Yes. So you have a book now. I'm excited for you because I've seen you work on it. And yes, it is. We're gonna promote the book. We got you. I got you. That's what you're here for, to promote the book. But how you been? How's everything where you're at?
Of course. Like, the book is also a piece of life. That's always what I love to talk about. Life, love, relationships, what matters. And what matters is not sales. I want to push the story, and the story is a piece of life. So how have I been? Well, I don't expect anyone to remember, but before COVID, I was in New York City. And then I lost my job there due to COVID, and I was sent back home to Europe. And since then, I've settled in central Italy, not too far away from Rome. And so since we last spoke, I've been getting to know the territory because I'm not originally from here, although I'm Italian. And it's beautiful. And I've kept working on my own podcasts and podcasts for other people in science communication. And I read a lot. COVID really killed a lot of the gigs that I had job-wise, but it's fine because I can get by fine. And actually, I got a lot of time on my hands to do stuff that I enjoy. Sorry to go back to that. It's really, I don't do this on purpose, but including writing a novel.
Oh no! Listen, it's great to have you on. We've like I said, we've been communicating. I've been seeing you've been doing some great things. I saw the body paint that you did. Yes, that looked amazing. How was that experience?
Everybody asked if it was tickling me, and no, it wasn't. Of course, and I'm very ticklish, so if I say that it wasn't tickling me, you have to believe it. I got a full body paint from head to toe on my back, so just the backside of the body, facing an audience because that was a live performance, and of course, the artist is an amazing artist that does these things around here and other things. She's a multi-talented artist. And I did that in conjunction with the promotion of the book because she was painting like a landscape, like something, a nature.
It was beautiful. Motif. Yeah, it was beautiful. I saw it. It was a beautiful, the sky and everything. It was amazing. I was like, look at you just because I could imagine like being on stage and have your backside showing and you're getting painted on, and like I can imagine the nerves.
Well, at some point, there was a musician performing next to us, great musician, and I wasn't facing the room, so I had no clue how many people were there. Yeah. And it was that type of event where people move around. It's not that they sit down and watch the performance from beginning to end. And so at some point, he finished a song, and I heard so much clapping so that there had to be at least 12, 15 people at least. And last time that I had looked at the room, it was empty at the beginning, right? So I was there, showing my B-side to him, and I hear all this clapping, and I'm like, oh my God, the room is full of people. But I think everyone should get painted, and often, because painted bodies are just beautiful. They're beautiful. I wish these things were semi-permanent in a way. It's just beautiful.
No, listen. I thought it was art. To me, it was art. It was amazing. I like I said, you have my utmost respect because I don't know if I would be able to stand up there with my backside out. So I listen for you to step out and do something like that. That's great. I'm happy for you. That's good. But you've been. I seen you've been doing a lot of things. You've been practicing your music. You've been. I seen you.
I know.
I seen you.
True.
I'm
True, true.
following you. I support you. I see you playing your music and doing everything.
Yeah, that's what I do. Now, the honest truth is that I like to pick up new instruments and try them out because I studied the piano for many years when I was little, and then I kept playing it as an adult. But I grew up with this idea that you study one instrument and that's your instrument, and you study it in order to get very good at it. And that's not right. Of course, you want to do it seriously if you do it, but it's so much fun to try different instruments, even if you're not going to continue with them. So, the breaking this block is a recent thing for me, and I have been experimenting with different instruments. But then, because I know music quite well, I pick up a new instrument and I can play a song rather soon. And I'm bold enough to post it on Facebook. So then I get all the people asking me, "Oh, how many instruments you play? You can play." And I'm like, "No, no, no, no. It's very basic what I do. I just have fun with them. The last instrument was the accordion because I got a complete crush and obsession for Argentina, where I'm going next week for the first time in my life. I'm excited. And so I was trying to play tango, right? And I posted something on Facebook, and now people are convinced that I'm accordion player. And no, I just learned that one song. So I've been playing the electric guitar, the
No,
bass
I've
guitar.
seen you play the bass, and I've seen you play. I think the electric guitar and a few other things. But it's like, but you know why? It's because you're having fun while you're doing it, and so it seems so
Yeah,
natural.
yeah.
It seems so natural that people think that you actually like an expert or whatever. But you play so it's just you just go out and play. You just have fun and do it. So when you do that, it just seems such more genuine. People tend to think that you're enjoying it so much more that you might think in your head that I'm not that great, but because you're playing so freely and you're playing like with not a care, just playing because you want to play it and learn. People hear it differently.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 it's true. And then I get a kick out of doing those videos where I play more instruments at the same time. I sing and I play the guitar and the bass and some fill-ins with the guitar too. But the guitar is really difficult, and I devoted myself to that at least for 6 months, like seriously last year. And I saw some progress. I could play some famous tunes that you just want to hear on that instrument. You can play any song on the piano, but it just doesn't sound the same.
Say, yeah.
Still Loving You by the Scorpions. Yeah, you can do it on the piano, but that solo with the guitar, you really want to hear it on the guitar. And so I almost learned the instrument just to play the few solos or intros of the songs that I loved. And yeah, and then sometimes I put all of that together. Oh yeah, but I want to say that if you go from the guitar to the bass guitar, but that I'll try to say something clever here, not just talk about how all the instruments I play. I think that each instrument um, gives you a different outlook on music. It's like putting on different glasses on the same landscape. And
Okay.
so it's interesting to make music with one instrument or another, because imagine if you're playing the piano, you have the harmony, and sometimes you can play all by yourself. If you're a bass guitar player, you only mostly have one note at a time, and sometimes not too many notes, but you normally play with other people. So the social element is intrinsic to that instrument when it's not. For the piano, you study years and years. Poor pianists, they're solitary people until you get good enough to play with other people. It's so many different experiences of music. And so by playing the different instruments in a band, just give you a different perspective on the music. Like when I moved from the guitar, which I find really difficult, to the bass guitar, I thought, like, really? one note at a time. Dum, dum, dum. This is too easy. I mean, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. So
and
this is something I've been doing.
so that's good. But see, what I love about it is that you're enjoying life. You're doing things. You're exploring. You're not like you like said you're going to Argentina next week, and it seems that since we've last spoken that you've like just like I'm just gonna enjoy life and do everything that I want to do, and I love that. I want to do that so bad.
Oh, my friend, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm surprised that not totally surprised, but surprised that I give this consistent impression of being on top of the wave. I don't know why English is failing me today. Because I cried last night about being so afraid to make the wrong choices in life. Like, there's plenty of uncertainty.
And it's fun. It's crazy because you look at it like even with me, like people see what I'm doing and they're like, "Oh, you're killing it." But there's these moments where you feel vulnerable. You just feel like, "Am I really doing what I'm supposed to do?" Like you have these doubts, and so
Yeah.
but when I see you, I don't see these doubts. I see the confidence. I see the amazing woman out there doing some great things.
Well, I could show you right here on my phone the voice messages. Pay attention. Last night I sent voice messages 10 to 22 minutes long, depending. One was 17 to different friends sharing. I was driving my car, and because so I was sharing a very vulnerable moment with friends, which is a great thing to do, to share with friends. And today they responded, and I listened carefully. So there's always a process of sharing and growing, right? But it's through crying and it's through doubt and uncertainty. Absolutely. You know?
Yeah. And so one of the reasons I've decided to go, I've been doing lives now is because of the audience interaction. I've had this is my man Tony Kaz. You can't see him right now because he has an approved StreamYard to see his name. So you need to fix that, brother. But he says what's up to me, and this is my homeboy Obayami. He's a good friend of mine as well. He's always supporting the show. But these are the reasons here. It's interaction like this, and this is my friend Sig Diggy. He's he's from Norway. He's in Norway now, but he's been all over the world. He's an amazing guy. He he's actually uh, he's a listener on the sports talk radio show that I do, Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Shout out to Snowman and Cole Johnson. And since then, he's actually started following my show and being a loyal listener, and I appreciate that. And it's that shows the reason why I decided to go live, because the interaction, just to be able to see people what they say and what they think about the conversation that we're having, and to be able to have them chime in. So yes, that's
Good.
why I do live now. All right, so what made you write the book?
Huh. Yeah. I was asking this question last night in the voice messages in part. What made me write it? Because I had it in me and I was bursting with, like the Alien movie. Like,
Yeah,
it had to come out of me. It had to come out of me.
yeah.
I was obsessed with it. I kept seeing it like visually in my head over and over with even almost the exact words to the scenes. And so one day I had to sit down, and this was last November, without having a plan about it. I literally just sat down and I started writing what I had been hearing in my head for a while, which totally sounds like a psychiatry therapy session right now. I sat down and I started describing what I was seeing. Now, in part, these were memories, actual memories, because I have lived certain experiences that enlightened me and opened my eyes on new, horizons in life. Now, what am I talking about when I talk like this? What is she talking about? It's a process of self-discovery through meeting someone else, which doesn't need to be the man of your life and could be a friend. But it just, in fact, if you think about it, and you're one, everybody brings something into your life, makes it richer, and maybe then they leave. So it doesn't need to then we got married, settled down, and stayed happy forever. And so the story in the book, which I'm quite terrible at talking about, but I'm getting better, is indeed the story of an encounter, two people that meet. But it's not a love story. This is not a love story the way you would imagine it.
Yeah.
Always I always think that it would fit more on the philosophy shelf or department in the bookstore, um, because I cannot even say that this the main character, a young woman, was going through such a rough time or she was depressed. No, I mean she was not going through a happy time, but it wasn't like a crisis situation to start from, and then at the end this develops. It's just regular life, ups and downs, and she was in a down in that moment. But through meeting this person and living new experiences, and of course it matters that it was that person and not just anybody, she feels new things and she tells them how in retrospect, because they date, you could say, throughout the summertime. And at the end of the summer she goes through some pictures that she did during the summer, and actually for each one she tells the memories of that day. Each chapter in the book is called like a place in this territory of central Italy, just south of Tuscany. Wonderful, beautiful place. And so there are visual cues for each chapter. In fact, in the ebook, you have color pictures also. I'll just throw it in right now. The ebook, which is available many places, including Amazon, for less than $3. 278 or something, so it's affordable, and it has color pictures inside, so these visual cues play a role. And she tells the story, but when it's already not over, the story is not necessarily over. We don't know what happens at the end of the book, but what she tells has already happened, and she tells it to herself and also to the man. But because it's in her memory, she falls in and out of this memory dimension. So she says you, and sometimes says he, and sometimes uses the present tense, and sometimes uses the past tense, just like you would do, like it happens in movies where you have the flashbacks and then you see the actual thing happening, which
Yeah.
someone is telling from the future. So there is a little bit of insight. That's what I want to say. She never over explained things because this is not a lecture. She doesn't preach, which I'm very happy I did not do it, because to this day I'm trying to unpack what I wrote myself in the book, and I said, well, that was deep, man, that was deep. But I do not unpack it in the book. I don't lecture. I just say with short sentences of very plain, light language, just what happens. But what happens in that's something beautiful, I think. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm praising my own book. No, no, I'm not. I'm not praising the book. I'm
It's
praising life. What the beauty of it is that in the simplicity of going out with someone, unassuming that there would be a book one day. You're just out and about. It's a beautiful day, and you touch my hand, or something else happens, and I feel transformed. There is something about this love that is beginning and developing that really changes me, that touches me, that teaches me things. And yet it's so simple. And there's something deep and also major happening in the main character of the book, because she is being changed by this love. But it's all happening inside of herself, because there's no noise outside, there's no sound, there's no rain, there's no thunder. It's also nice and pretty and quiet, and the nature all around. But inside of herself she feels all of these things that are not visible therefore outside, that the man may not even be aware of. And she tells in retrospect this story with all her memories and what she was thinking then. So this is a little bit of it.
It's fine. It's fine. But like again, I just wanted to have you on because I know you're doing what you're supposed. You're doing the book and you're doing some great things, and it's funny because you like you said before before the pandemic, you a lot of things were taken from you. Like you're a person from of science. You're someone who has a
Yeah.
science background, and that's where. But now it's like you're like this philosophical this
Philosophical.
philosophical person now, and I think
Hmm.
it is. I think it's a great transformation to go from yes science based and all this stuff to more philosophy and understanding the person, the human being, and looking at life and going through all these emotions. Like even yesterday, like to me, you you ooze confidence, and then you telling me now that you're crying onto your, to your phone, and but that's just how that's what life is. This you have those moments is where one moment you're on top of the world, and then the next day, like something inside of you just feel like I just need to let these emotions out, and that's one of the things Sig pointed out was it's healthy to cry. It's healthy to to do these things. It's and that's why I think
Hmm.
it's the world has changed more now. It's more understanding of the issues that we go through as human beings and all that, and
Yeah.
we're not looked at as oh you're not a weak person if you go out and seek help. And so to be able to have this awareness now that hey people who have mental breakdowns, people are not 100%. They need sometimes they need to release their whatever's going on. They need to talk to someone, either it's crying, whatever it is, to help you alleviate what's going on in your life. It's okay. It's fine. It's not.
Sure.
It's not. It's not a bad thing for you to go out and seek help. It's not a bad thing for you to find a outlet for you to express yourself. This is my outlet. Me being able to come here and talk to people and do my podcasting is my therapy. It's my outlet to be able to come and talk. And so when when you find your outlet and you find what makes you happy and you're able to do the things that you love to do, yeah, sometimes you have to make yourself uncomfortable to do those things. Like you have to step out of your comfort zone to live life. Life is ups and downs. Like we were supposed to have your friend on, and you said he was going through some things, and that's life. And then like I told you, I'm gonna say some prayers for him, and hopefully next time we can have him on as well. But that's life struggles. That's how life is, and hopefully he can pick himself up.
Hmm.
But I could imagine having a friend like you cheering him on and boosting him up. He's gonna do fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. I always try to stand by his side because he's an amazing friend for me. In turn, he's amazing, and right now he's not, going through some tough shit like personally, like existential questions. It's really, practical stuff,
Yeah,
and
I could
a
imagine.
lot on
Listen,
his plate. So he couldn't be with us today, but I would like to take this opportunity to say hello, hi, David. I wanted him on the show, and I'm so sorry he cannot be there because he helped me translate the book to English because I wrote it in Italian and also translated it to English because I'm a little bit fluent in the language. But to write a book, it's a different thing. You really want it to be perfect and the
perfect. Yeah,
nuances and all. So it was already done in English when I spent hours, literally, David, if you're listening, hours on the phone with David, going through each paragraph, polishing it, refining it. And it's been an amazing work because he was patient enough to listen from me what I exactly wanted to say. And yes, I unpacked a lot. And it's also been a learning experience. Sometimes by try to explain what I wanted to say, I had to use more words, different words. And even to me, it appeared more clear what I wanted to say. And we found the exact expression in English coming from Italian, which was different. Some paragraphs we had a really hard time translating. He knew clearly what I wanted to say. I knew clearly what I wanted to say, but the language just didn't
just
work.
gonna work.
And so I sat down and I tried to erase it and try to think as hard as I could, what would I have written if I had written this directly in English? So I put it down differently so that that is not a translation. It says the same thing, but it's as if the author just wrote a different version of it. But since I'm the author, I can do it. So what I want to also say is that I can vouch to the fact that the English translation of the book is really, top. It's the best it can be. um, and and I'm looking into printing some hard copies of the book, but right now the English language is only available in ebook, which is not too bad. I love ebooks. I did the ebook, by the way. This is my project. You see, the pictures in the book, I took them personally, driving around all the places. I put the ebook together with some help from a colleague, and so there's my touch in everything that has to do with this book, including this. Can I show the cover? This cover
Yes.
is a woman's back. This is the hair, and this is a heart-shaped tattoo. If you read the story, then you know why of all of this. But I think it looks very elegant, and the idea was mine. But then I worked with this amazing graphic designer that developed it further, which is another amazing thing that happens in life, right? You have you have an idea, but you share it generously with other colleagues, because there are people who will be jealous of their ideas. That's bad, I think. You share it with them, and it gets just so much better because they bring their own talents into it. So I love this cover because it was sort of my idea to have this, the uh the shape of the waist of the woman, but the way he did it, I just love it. It could be a tree.
Oh
I
yeah.
just love it. I just love
It's
it.
it's it, it's funny because we published my nephew's book this year, and the original cover was hadn't it didn't really mix with what the story was, with what his book was meant to be. So when we went to Podfest and he got to actually show authors and book publishers his book, they gave him some tips like, you'll do it this way, do this, and do this, which he actually did. And now the cover he's designed is amazing. And it's because he listened to other people. Yes, he had an idea of what he wanted to do, but he listened to other people that knew what they were talking about.
Mhm.
And he was like, okay, yeah, like, yeah, I get it's my book, but and the way he designed the cover wasn't really fitting to the book. And for him to go listen to what these people had to say and apply it and make a big difference, it made a big difference in the cover. Like, you can tell now.
Yeah.
And so to be able to listen to people and take opinions, and it's that's sometimes people need to learn how to take criticism. Like, sometimes it's good. There's some good criticism. There's people like, hey, they're trying to make you a better person, better author, whatever it is. Some of us don't know how to take it easily. Don't know how to take it.
True. It's true. I always listen. Always listen. Even if someone just walks by in the street and throws an insult at me, I'll stop for a second and say, "Huh, may he have a point? Like, this man doesn't know me, and just was inspired to say that just by seeing me. Is there anything in me that could inspire that?" I examine everything that comes at me. But what I want to say is that there is a chemistry between two people, some people with whom you will just work better. Uh, in this
Yes.
case, this graphic designer obviously resonated with the idea that I gave him and developed it further in a way that I also happened to love, and that was very fortunate. He told me that he appreciates when people he works with give him ideas, because otherwise he has to come up with it from scratch. But some other graphic designers that have more of an artistic ambition will want to have control of the whole project and will want to work from scratch. They don't like the author of the book to even tell them how they would like the cover to be. I just suggested an idea. I would have taken a different idea from. In fact, the idea that I had, I loved it, but the sketch that I tried to show him that I did in Photoshop just sucked so much. And I said, look, the idea, I think is amazing, but it looks terrible. So you tell me if it's because I am terrible with Photoshop or because it's just a concept that rocks and graphically it will never deliver. And no, he developed it in this way, and I just love it. And by the way, of course, this is in Italian, so the English title would be In the Heart of Tuscia. This is pronounced Tuscia, and Tuscia is precisely this territory, this region south of Tuscany in Italy, where I live now, between Florence and Rome.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, I love having you on the show all the time. This is like I said, we've been what friends 2 years now. We've been communicating. You always sending me whatever you're doing and all
Yeah,
that, and and it's great to be able to share your work. I love to be able to share your work. So it was my honor to have you on to come and promote your book. Like I said, when you said, "Hey, I'm doing a book," I was excited for you because that's a big step. That's a big step. You, as always, you're still doing your podcast. I always see you releasing content for your podcast. You're always doing things that are entertaining. You're always doing something to entertain the people. Like I said, I love the videos when you post when you even learning when you started learning how to play the guitar. Or all those things are entertaining. But you show people that, hey, listen, I don't know. This is not what I naturally do. This is not what I never learned. And you just go and do it. So that inspires people like, hey, she's just going out,
you
and
know,
that
I have a
inspires me.
I have a friend who comes to see me tomorrow from Milan.
Yeah.
That's in the north of Italy. So he drives quite the way to see me. And part of it is I've been following you on social media, and I really need to see if you're real, like how it really happens, where you are. Do you really do all those things? I want to see the place. Uh, really, Um,
And it's great because you've invited me out to. You've said, "Hey, when
oh,
you
yeah.
come, you're more than
Yeah.
welcome to stay." And I love that. I appreciate that very much. So
Of course, I confirm or renew the invitation. By the way, you've grown also your podcast during the past year and a half or so. So, congratulations with that. Your presence on social media is amazing. I'm mostly on Facebook. I don't do Instagram much, some professional stuff on LinkedIn. I don't do Twitter much. So, I don't know. They say that it's an old social media now, Facebook, but that's where I mostly am. And I follow you there, and actually I thought I would never hear from you because I knew you back way then, when, how to say that, when you were starting out, but now you're famous. So
I'm not famous, but no, it's listen. I love the fact that saying we've become friends. I appreciate that, and there's a lot of people I'm blessed with since I've started podcasting that I've been blessed to call my friend. And it's amazing the relationships I've been able to build through my
yeah,
podcast, and I've been able to build relationships for all over the world, and I'm so blessed to do it because had I not done this, I would have not met the amazing people I know now, and all the amazing things that are happening wouldn't have happened.
100%, a
So
hundred percent.
I love this. I love doing it. I love the fact that I get to make friends like you, make friends like Sick, people in the chat everywhere, because it's these are relationships you would have I would have never made had I not taken the leap and started my podcast. Because for a year I was stuck on not doing it. I was making excuses until I finally did press record, and you could tell the evolution. When I first started, was a 5 minute audio, and like I said, our first interview was audio. It wasn't video, and I evolved to video last year to the point where now I'm doing live shows. So the confidence is there. But it takes me doing hundreds of interviews because I've done hundreds of interviews audio wise as far as just audio. Now I've just added the video aspect of it, and now I've done probably over 60 of those. So the more I do this, the much more comfortable I get, the more, because this is probably my sixth or seventh live show since I've transitioned to going to live. And
Right.
with each episode, I hope to improve, and I hope to just get better with
Yeah.
each episode because it's a learning process. It's me growing, my audience is growing, and everything.
Yeah, consistency, and it's a learning process. But I'm just not satisfied with my results. So I say, yeah, it's a learning process. But like, if I keep going this way, maybe in 20 years, I'll be a good speaker. I'll be able to really say what I want to say. Thank you so much
But how many?
for
But you don't only speak one language. You speak multiple languages, don't you?
I do, I do. I was very proud of my English when I was in the States, right, in 2020, because by being there, finally, I was satisfied with it. But now I've been in Italy for, in October, it will be 2 years. And it just matters, it doesn't matter if you know it, if you don't practice it, and if you're not surrounded by it, if you're not exposed to it all the time, you just lose it. So of course I still speak it, you can hear it, but there's a little bit of, words per minute rate, some expressions that I don't use anymore that I used to, because I see it in my Facebook posts of back then. So right, English would be the second language I speak best, and then Slovenian, French, Dutch. In fact, the book is also available in Dutch as an ebook. And yeah, I like
Yes.
it.
See,
Love it.
and so my friend's sick. He says ciao. He's
From Eritrea.
yeah. So he's an awesome dude. He's very well rounded. It's funny because he can talk sports. He can talk art. He can talk music. He's just a great guy. I love the fact that he's now a fan. So I appreciate it, man. It, this is why I do it, to be able to connect with people and build these relationships, and to be able to interact with people like this, and have them actually get to interact with the guest as well. To me, that
Yeah.
was like, that's a great thing, because now the audience gets to sit and ask, if they want to ask a question of the guest and whatever it is. It, to me, it's much more intimate, and I just felt was the next evolution for Stuck in My Mind, was to go live.
How do you pronounce Eritrea in English? Because I just went Eritrea, but maybe it's
That's the same. It's might be the same way. That's how I would say it. Eritrea. Yeah.
Eritrea. English keeps surprising me because pronunciation makes no sense, right? In English.
Especially not in English. No, not
No,
in
no,
English
no.
whatsoever. No. But
Um,
Federica,
yeah,
thank you so much. You've been great. I love this.
you
You
know what I
definitely.
will take the liberty of saying last, because you are maybe the podcaster that I didn't know before being on your show last time
Yeah.
at all, and I was surprised by what how warm you were as a person, because sometimes you get along, you smile, it's nice to be on the show, but goodbye, and you really connect with the people. I
Oh,
love that. And
I-
we haven't really stayed friends like we talk every day, but we kept communicating and
yeah.
throughout this period of time. And that's why I'm terrible about talking about my book. I hope I get better one day, because it's not a love story and it's not this, it's not philosophy. I just want to point out some themes there are in the book, because they're there and that are very human. And it's the theme of salvation, because at the end of chapter 1, she says that what he did to her, which was taking her to some place that evening, it was exactly what I needed. That day, I was saved. So it's already beyond a love story or like fancying someone. Why saved? Saved, that's a big deal. And
Yeah.
after going out with someone one time, so there's the theme of salvation and then also gratitude, because not everything goes well in this story, but yet at the end, she reports being at his place one evening and already looking back at what had happened during the summer and sensing that the best was behind us. Then we don't know. Actually, she may be wrong, but that's how she feels. And she is a little bit melancholic, of course, but she said, I realized that this summer has been so wonderful and rich that it's a moral duty to honor it. And so, what this book is probably the most is a celebration of life, although it seems so corny. And what does that mean? But this is what it is. It's the
It's
fact
you.
that at the end of the day, in fact, it reflects me a lot, and I'm kind of
Well,
proud that I didn't.
you were the one who wrote it, so I would hope it would reflect.
I
I
know,
think.
but I didn't plan. Now I'm gonna write this element, this and this in the book. It just came out of me like that, and at the end of the day, the main feeling that she is left with is gratitude, a sincere, deep gratitude, which is not like, yeah, I'm sad and sorry that everything went bad, but I have to be grateful. Because sometimes people tell you have to count your blessings and remember you live in the first world. Sometimes you have a roof over your head, and you're still sad because there's something in the soul that is not okay. And and this feeling of gratitude is really something that warms her up. Not that I unpack this very much, like I said in the book. I just talk about the gratitude. I don't over explain these things, but I'm explaining now that I'm talking. Even at the end, let's say that it's the true end of a relationship that you've had. This is such a feeling of gratitude that fills you up, and it says, no, look, I mean, I don't have, I'm sad, but I don't have to be sad because what happened is so wonderful that I am grateful. So I think that I'm also proud that the book transmits these values in the story without being moralistic or preaching, but it's very intense, it's very heartfelt and authentic. Thank you very much.
It was my pleasure to have you on. It's to me, it's being able to. I've had people come on multiple times, and that's because I've connected with them. Like when someone's on my show more than one time, it's because when we first interviewed, we kind of had a good conversation. It was just a good conversation. And to me, those are the best, is when you can just feel comfortable talking to someone. Like you said, when we first spoke, when we did the first interview, we didn't really get to know each other. We didn't get to speak. And then after we had the conversation, it was like, okay, she's a cool person. This is someone I can see myself being friends with. And you looked at it the same way. And since then, we've exchanged messages, checked up on each other, see how we're doing. So we've been able to build that relationship. And
Yes.
so it was easier for me to have you back on because I already know what kind of person you are and what great things you're doing. So I wanted people to come and see that. I wanted people to experience to look at someone like yourself who is adventurous and like you said, yes, yeah, you're adventurous, but there's sometimes you kind of, like how you said, you just, to me, you show one thing and again, it's not always the same thing. Like yesterday you said you was crying and but I love this. I love your spirit. I love the fact that you are this adventurous person that you are, but you're also vulnerable, and that you're this strong woman, but you're also vulnerable. You have this vulnerable side to you. So yes, I love that.
Now, last time you were not on video, so I want to show you my tattoo. Wait a second.
Uh,
You see this?
Trust the process. Yes.
Trust the process. Trust the process. I have another one over here. That's pretty. Wait a second. How do you do this? Like this.
Stay human. Yes.
That's all I have to say, guys.
Oh yes, is that what last time since we've met? I've gotten a tattoo myself. Yes.
You did?
Yes. I have a few of them, but yeah, this is the biggest piece I've gotten
Okay.
done.
Text also, or just design?
It's just a design. Yeah, no, can't.
I love those. I love those. You know, full. The
Yes,
a
I'm not
bunch
done.
of different elements.
I'm not done. I'm still got to get the rest of the arm done, and then working on the one on this
And
arm over here.
it
So
hurts, right?
no,
No?
no.
When I get tattoos, I hurt like crazy. Like
I'm
they
thick
really hurt.
skinned. I'm so thick skinned. Like I barely bleed when I get my tattoos.
Oh, by the
So
way, excuse me. The every chapter in the book is called like a different place in Tusha,
yeah,
except for the last one, which is called the tattoo Haha, the tattoo, because I like to think that the body is also a place where the story gets written, because this is supposed to this is a tattoo. I can say that
Yes.
without giving the story away, but then you understand more about it. So the tattoo also, and which I actually have. So I also got new tattoos during the past year after these ones, which I got in Belgium in 2015. But they all hurt. Like getting tattoos just hurts.
You know what? To me, it felt like it was. I don't know. I guess where I no, because the one in my back didn't hurt that bad either. But I just don't think of the pain. I don't really think of the. I just sit there and don't think of the pain.
Oh, no,
Honestly.
no, no. No, I got one on my tummy, and the moment the needle touched my skin, I felt so much pain that I thought, oh, no, 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 this is not happening. I cannot get to the end of this, because it was about 7 hours under the needle.
Yeah.
Either the guy was very slow, or I don't know. I don't know. Indeed, there's such thing, because I retouched a large tattoo that the first guy took about 7 to 8 hours to do, and the second guy went all over it again in 3 hours. I'm like, "You done?" And like, "Yeah, I did the blacks and the colors and all of it." And so, okay, so I don't know, because I'm not an expert of that technique of doing tattoos, but they all hurt pretty bad. And I am amazed that in 2022 there wouldn't be an effective, like, anesthetic, local anesthetic for getting tattoos.
But I think that's part of the process is the pain. I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's what they always say. It's a ritual of passage to get a tattoo so you remember it better. What do you mean? I see it. It's on my skin forever. What do you mean, remember it? It's like giving birth. Giving birth. I never gave birth, but it hurts. So I hear, you know, is it important that it hurts so you love your child more? Come on, no, we could do without pain in this world.
All right. So now, if where can they find the book at? You said there it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, and sorry. So again, the book has a website, which is federicabressan.com/cuoretuscia. I know it's impossible that anybody finds it like that, but if you Google my name and Heart Tuscia or book, it will show up. It's also on Facebook. It has a Facebook page. I have the hashtags Tusha Book and Quaretusha. And but on Amazon, it's pretty easy to find. Actually, yeah, there are other websites where I believe it's $3.99, but on Amazon, it's $2.78, and also €2 78, because right now euro and dollars are just equal.
So I will put it once I'll put it in the comment in the chat in the description or whatever for people who.
Yeah. And please note my matching nail polish. How about that?
Sig would like to know what are your views on piercings?
Oh, piercings. I had several when I was a teenager, and now I don't anymore.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah,
I had piercings when I was younger.
I
And
had one on my nose, and you know what I used to do? I used to do new, um, sorry, in Italian we call them holes in my ears
oh,
for earrings
the big ones, yeah, for this, yes.
by myself at home, for just a new one. So I would have five and five, and maybe plus one on the top of my ear. But I have to tell you, that was very, very, or I would say even this, undistinguishable from self-harming back then. There was
Yes.
an element of that. I never understood piercings on your tongue. I just think it must hurt like unbelievable, and why would you want that? I'm not against it in the least. It's just something that,
It's just not
despite
for you.
having,
It's not.
having it on my nose, it's just not for me. I love tattoos. Tattoos, I'm big on tattoos. Some people get nicer ones, worse ones, as long as they mean something
As
to
they
them.
listen, as long as they're happy with it, hey,
Yeah.
teach
Yeah,
his own.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna die one day anyway. This is how I see it. Some tattoos that I got are not aesthetically beautiful or technically done perfectly, but who cares? Of course, I'm not a good tattoo artist picker. Of course, I'm not. But every tattoo that I have is linked to the experience of getting it. And also, what I get really means something to me. So even if it's not beautiful or it's imperfect, I love it. It's there. And trust me, I am a perfectionist. People know me as a perfectionist in many areas of life. But when it comes to tattoos, even if one is not perfect, because this is pretty awful, the T is pretty awful. I said, well, so what? Like, I can't care less. I'm gonna die anyway one day. This body's disposable. So, and it's not on my face, say, or something. So, fine. So, I'm very easygoing, even on permanent marks on your body. But piercings, I used to have several and I don't anymore. Also, on your nipples. Jesus, why would you do that to yourself? Just because of the pain.
She went there,
Come on.
yes. Oh man. But Federica, thank you so much. I appreciate you being on. I love having you on. But we definitely gotta hopefully we can have your friend on as well soon once he gets situated, and have him tell how it felt to be able to translate the book for you.
Yes, very much. Hi again, David. Not get well soon because he's not sick, although he's been through some COVID-ish things recently. But good luck to you, and hope to be back maybe again. I don't know, with another book
You're
or
always
just
you're always
because.
welcome. You're always welcome to come. Hey, you be like, hey, why is I'm bored? Want to chat? Oh,
Oh,
just
come
whatever.
on.
Just hit me up. Hit me up. I'm always looking to chat. I'm always looking to
And
record
you know what?
something.
I will thank my friend and my friend's family because I am at his house right now. Because you may know if you follow me on Facebook that I live in the middle of the woods and the
Yes,
house is pretty much run down. Like I live a pretty wild, uncivilized life, like raised by
she does,
wolves
people. She
and
does.
that
She does.
kind.
She's not lying.
Kind of.
She's
But
telling the truth.
today, to be on video with you, I wanted it to look more professional. So I'm sitting in somebody's office right now. And I would like to thank Marco and his family. He's not even here. He works in Rome, but his brother-in-law opened the door for me and set me up with the Wi-Fi, and I brought my microphone and everything. So this is his office. And it looks pretty good. Look at what a nice
Yes,
picture they have
that's a
over
nice
there.
picture. No, definitely nice setup. Thank you, Marco, for having her in your office.
Yeah, it's always teamwork. That's something is one of my favorite quotes. No matter what you accomplish in life, it's teamwork. And
Always.
because this is a truism, because it's true, when you think that you accomplished something all by yourself, it means that you're overlooking somebody because you never accomplish anything by yourself. It's always teamwork.
Yes, it is. But thank you. I love having you on the show. It's time for me to do shout outs. So don't leave just yet, okay? All right. So it is time for shout outs. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Bobby J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina. Love you, baby. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Sick Diggy, Ben from BS3 Network, Obai Me, Tony Kaz for coming through, showing some love. Big shout out to my guest, Federica Bressan, for coming through and sharing her book with us and sharing a couple of laughs with me. I love when she's on here. She's definitely got a great sense of humor. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know your boy Wise does it. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Listen on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn. Find us on social media on Twitter at @wise_b_blunt, Instagram at @wise_b_blunt, and a Facebook fan page, www.facebook/wise76. Check back soon for new episodes. Until next time, peace out.